Chat with Chad.
And I think that's really important too. A lot of these magazines, I was like going through them, and it's not really a story. It's just like fashion, which is kind of cool. But you have blogs for that. But when you go to your magazine, I noticed that it does. It tells a story as you're like flipping the pages. I mean, really, the visualization of the magazine is amazing.
Well, and it's not just the photos either. It truly is the layout. So, Grant, I think, has sold his soul to the devil for some of the talent that he has and to be able to put some of these layouts together. Before him, Vonda helped out, and both of them are so incredibly talented.
Yeah,
and
we got to give a shout out to Vonda.
You put these issues together, and that's, I mean, at the end of the day, coupled with those beautiful, talented photos that I said, I mean, that's what makes the issue stand apart.
I think I did the last two issues, put them together, and each of them we like broke it down into a whole storyline. Like the fall one kind of started month by month, like seasons changing, and then to holidays, and everything kind of had its own place. And then with winter, we had just like snowfall in one, and then it moved into kind of Christmassy, and then we ended it with a New Year's kind of vibe. So, for me, I want people to open it and be like, okay, here's a story. Here's some, like, I'm enjoying this. I can see what it is. That's me for everything. I love everything that has stories. I love albums that have stories for music. I love magazines that have stories. Like, I just think that makes it more intriguing because we can all do a bunch of photos on some gray backdrops and call it an editorial, and those are cute.
Hello.
Like, that's cute for one, but we don't want that for everything. Everything should have its own life, in my opinion. So, I think we try to push that.
Why don't you just call up my photos?
Have a good night.
So this is like, okay, so I know that you guys mentioned it's a seasonal thing. Like, you guys do, like, how often do you guys publish, and how many publications have you actually made?
So we've had 8 full issues, so for a year. And you know what? That's the $1 million question. We strive to do every quarter, but when I first kicked this off, one thing, and people that know me are going to start laughing, I struggle sometimes with deadlines. And I knew that if I created something where we're going to release on this date at this time every single few months, I'm going to struggle with that. I wanted it to be fun and not another job, but then at the same time, if you go too long, people kind of start forgetting what you're serving. So the goal is every 3 months. We do try and tie it with the seasons, just because it's always exciting, and there's special times of year, like the holidays, I'll start going crazy wanting to put out tons of photos and pictures. But the goal is every quarter. So we've had 8 issues. We've also had 2 calendars. So we've kind of had 10 publications. And I'll share the issue link if you guys want to see them. Now here's the trick, and here's one thing that I learned. You'll only see 7 there unless you log in, and you can log in with your Facebook login. Because the calendars in one issue was labeled as adult, and so when it's an adult rated issue, you've got to log in. So that's why you only see 7 at first glance. That link.
I'm just gonna complain. Issue is the devil, because that one issue that's adult is not adult at all. So I was just like, y'all really tried it. But oh well. But we try to keep it clean and classy so y'all can see it.
Like, if you look at the magazine, it's literally like glossy. I don't know if you guys are actually looking at it. So I love that, and I mean it is amazing, and I look forward to seeing it. Like, as you said, it's every quarter, right? So every
quarter.
Yeah, 4 times a year, 3 months. All right. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's awesome, actually.
I think one of my personal favorites, though, not to totally drive this topic another way, but is the Pride issue, because the Pride issue is lit and it's colorful, and I live for that issue. So I think we're doing another Pride issue. Yes.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yep, we are.
Okay, great. That's because we were saying how we do seasonal stuff, but then I think the Pride issue was totally that was just all about LGBT, and I live for that. Drag queens and colors and booty shorts and men's. So it was real good.
We like to keep it classy up here at Gallant Magazine.
Classy, but that one I was like, yeah, okay, I like this issue.
He put it more than his heart and soul into it. Let me just put it that way.
Let me take a drink. Sip my drink real quick. Thank you, you guys.
So I know we've all seen the movie Devil Wears Prada, and like how she has her book and everything else, and people bring the things and she just frowns upon them. Like, you don't do this. Do you ever get that way? Like, do people like bring you stuff and like?
That's my job. Just kidding. Just kidding. No.
He puts on a silver-haired wig and
100%.
pretends to be
100%.
Street.
The only gotcha I ever made in Second Life was made after Devil Wears Prada, so I hold that one close to my heart. So let me put that wig on.
Oh yeah, that one was a good one. Do you have that magazine full perm, by the way?
Sure do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk after this. Sorry.
Like, what is the time frame do you like give your editors or the people who are? Do they have the full like 3 months? I mean, does it take that long to put the magazine together?
No, it doesn't take a full 3 months, but kind of the reason why, from a time frame perspective, it's spaced out that way is because it takes a lot of work, right? Especially when you're a smaller team, and you got real life jobs going on, and everyday struggles. And then you add a magazine on top of it into SL. If you're doing it like back to back every month, I don't know how other people do that because it is a lot of work. But it really gives us a time to have, first of all, a little bit of a break, but then also to start thinking about what are we going to incorporate into the next issue. Because while it's kind of tied to the seasons, I mean, there's only so many flowers for spring that people are going to get excited about. So we try and switch it up and see what we're going to do differently. But we don't have a whole lot of meetings around the table, so to speak. But Grant and I'll talk to other people, and go on Pinterest, take a look. I do have a Trello document that we put together and kind of put some of the themes and ideas, and so we can all work together virtually. And we also have a spreadsheet where we capture all the information, decide who's going to be in it. But it kind of gives you time to break and refresh before the next issue in the following 3 months.
Yeah, because after I don't want to see it for a month. Once we publish it, I don't want to see it. I don't want anybody to talk about it. I don't want to see it because I'm tired of it by then. We're putting the whole thing together. Like, I used to do Avenue Magazine. I don't know if anyone remembers them. That was a while ago. I think I did their final 5 publications, and they were monthly. By like the 3rd month, I was like, wait, I'm quitting this job because I'm sick of seeing this magazine. So I think having that turnaround time also helps us like gain some creative energy, because you can always tell. For me, if you look at my Flickr, you can tell whenever I'm putting the magazine together, because you don't see a single photo for me for like 3 weeks because I have nothing left to give. My entire soul is drained.
That's it. I have nothing.
I'm like, I did what I could, and I'm leaving Second Life. But then a month later, I'm like, okay, when is the next issue happening? Because I need something to do. So like, let's get the ball rolling. So I think also if we were monthly, people would get sick of looking at us. Low key. It'd be like more editors' notes. Great. So excited. So I think keeping it 4 times a year helps people not get tired of the product. Ciao. Just shut up.
And that's true. I mean, like, it's almost like it's like Christmas morning. You're like waiting for like the new issue to come out. You're like, oh my gosh, you give them a little bit of time. I think 3 months is like pretty good. I mean, I wish I can do it for 3 months, but I try to make this like every 2 weeks on here. So, but I enjoy it. I mean, when it does come out, 'cause I didn't notice it until like a few months ago, and I was like, wow, this is really nice. And then I went back to all the back issues and started watching them. Like your calendar is amazing. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Calendar, bane of my existence, but it turned out beautiful.
Well, and see, that's the funny part. So Grant's the creative director and helps out with layout. So in between the issues, like, he'll help with ideas, but his like truly busy time is like right before that issue releases. So he's putting stuff together, formulating the pages, and that is a lot of work. So he'll go kind of silent for a couple days because I know he's putting all that together. And about to pull his hair out.
Yeah, if anyone I've gotten short with, that's probably what's happening. But I've gotten short with you also. I just want to apologize now.
Oh, my bad.
My bad.
So in the magazine, I mean, like, do you go out to the designers, or do you have people coming to you to want to actually put it, their ads in your magazines? Like me, I've been begging for like 3 months now. Um, and finally I'll have one in there. So you guys watch out for that. I'm gonna do one with Chit Chat for Chat with Chad in the next magazine. So
Opening pages too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're excited to have you in there. Wait, isn't Grant taking the photo?
Yes, right after this show, what are we doing for?
All right. You know what? It's a little bit of both, and it's changing. So when it first came out, nobody knew who in the heck we were. So, I was like, "Hey, I know you. Would you like to put an ad in the magazine?" And um, I didn't charge at all back then because it's just kind of like I want to get the word out and kind of share. This is what we're trying to do, and so it's me hustling, working the streets, trying to get people to include their name in the issue. But what's been really cool over the last couple is that, like I said, people are reaching out and wanting to be part of it. So now they're, hey, how do I get an ad? Can you tell me a little bit about the spaces? What can we do? How do I get to either be a model in there? How do I get to have my featured? So that's probably been the craziest transition for us.
Oh wow.
Say that last sentence one more time, please. Thank you.
Am I breaking up? Okay. No, that's been the really exciting transition piece of this is because people are starting to come to us.
Oh, okay. Because I am sure, like, when you first started off, it was like, hey, okay, because I need some more people in this magazine. But now it's like you're out there, and people are just like, oh, okay, how are we getting your magazine? Yeah,
Well, and that's the part.
turned.
Well, and I hate that part. Like, I hate going up to people and saying, "Hey, do you want to put an ad in there?" Like, there are some people that are really great to work with, and I'm shouting out to all kinds of people in the audience. But you got Noche and Danny here. He has always been such a supporter. He's always been really helpful. And there are some people like you get to know in the community, feel comfortable talking to. But I mean, sometimes I don't want to say intimidating, but I can only imagine that store owners get hit up so many times by people wanting you to do. And I think that now that we've been around for a little bit of time and it's not just a fleeting idea and it's something that's kind of gained momentum, so like, okay, I know about this and I want to be a part of it. So that's been really, really cool to see.
Okay. So if I was like
No, he did.
like a
He did
new
help me.
designer, like, who would I talk to? Where would I come to? Like, would you recommend this for like a new designer to get their product out there?
Yeah, so there's a couple of venues, and this is one of the things that we're really trying to do. So we're trying to expand some of the marketing opportunities. So first and foremost, if it's a new designer that wants to get word out about the brand, of course we've got ads available, so you can put an ad in the issue. But then also, I've had some designers that have reached out wanting to be featured, and so it would just be kind of talking to me what your ideas are, what your thoughts are. For the most part, Grant and I will pick who those featured designers are, whether it's someone that's gotten kind of big or someone that's really got a good name out there. But we also have, and a lot more communication with the Facebook page has been happening. We've got the In World group, and Scar Requiem's really been helping put that information out. We're looking to we have a website, but we want to update it, make it more user friendly, not just kind of have it out there whenever we update an issue. Really kind of share some new product releases, stores.
There's a Discord server also. Isn't that a public Discord server?
We do have a public Discord. Yep, we have a
Mhm.
public Discord server, just to kind of share more information there as well too. So really, just trying, besides just the magazine, what happens between trying to keep that information.
Wait, is he cutting out?
Wait, did I cut out again? I was just saying we're
Mhm.
trying to keep that information fresh and keep it going.
Okay. So I mentioned that Grant, you said you came up with the name, or someone came with the name.
I mean, I didn't come up with a name. I just remember throwing words around and looking up synonyms and things like that. Looking up synonyms. Also, I'm great at English. Thank you, you guys.
You can see how he just popped that name out right
I
away.
don't write my editor's notes. That is a ghostwriter, so thank you.
Wait, you don't?
I write my editor's notes. Have you seen the grammatical errors? Of course I write those editor's notes.
Why
Love it.
Gallant? Like what or Gallant? Like why did you?
Okay, so coming up with the name of a magazine is not easy, right? So first of all, a lot of times when you finally think of a word, it's already out there. Somebody might be
Hmm.
using it. Um, but I knew the central theme was going to be men's fashion, home and decor. So when I was talking about it with people, including Grant, I wanted a word that was so Gallant means heroic. I am kind of a comic book nerd, so that one kind of appealed to me. But it still had kind of a when I hear that word, I think light and shining, masculine. Just it just rolls off the tongue. It sounded good. So, and then I'm trying to think of some of the other words that we had that we were kind of tossing around and they're escaping me. But yeah, that's
I
the one
remember
we
us
ended
kind
up
of
on.
speaking about we wanted it to be something that A had a masculine uh, undertone, if that makes any sense.
Vibe.
Yeah, like a masculine vibe. I remember we were looking up like things that bold or like uh, valiant or like yeah, that kind of thing. So we wanted it to be a word that popped and had good synonyms around it, not just like something we made up. If
We would
people were
have
like,
like
"What
a
is this
really
about?"
right. We'd have a really good idea, and then like, oh wait, isn't that a store?
Yeah. I would just be
Don't
on
we
Second
know
Life
her?
typing things into search, and I would be like, I didn't even know this existed, but you know what?
It's already
We
out.
ain't going there.
Oh wow. So how do who chooses the cover of every issue? I mean, like, is it does the cover explain like what the actual issue is going to be about? I mean, how many? What's the meaning like when you choose like a cover?
Yeah, so the covers have kind of changed since the very beginning. So we've tried to weave in kind of a seasonal feel to the covers. Um, and you know what? When the issue is first formulated, we don't necessarily know the cover. Typically, we'll put a person on there. Like, so for example, if we're going to feature a men's fashion store, typically that owner is on the cover. Now, for the previous fall issue, our first garden cover. That
Mhm.
one seemed to go really well. Um, but yeah, it's typically one of the people that we're featuring, or it's going to have a seasonal feel to it.
I think it also depends on the content as well. Like the fall issue was very decor heavy. It was a lot less fashion and a lot more home and garden. So we were like, oh, okay, let's put some decor on the cover. It's something new. Switch it up.
Yeah, I was looking at the magazines. Like that's the only one that had the decor in the front of it.
Hmm.
But you know, when fall comes out, that's when everyone has like
That's it.
Oh yeah,
pumpkin
Divos is like
everything.
Look, I want
this
pumpkins
hoe over here
everywhere.
is lit. Okay, I'm getting text all day. Like I just got my pumpkin spice, and there's pumpkins, and I love orange, and everything's great. And I'm like, oh my god.
We almost made it through this whole show without you putting me on blast. Here we go.
Well, just check your Facebook because the receipts are there. Boop.
Oh man. So if you guys had to explain your jobs in 5 words, like what would you say? 5 words.
Keep it
Oh
positive, Grant.
no! Right? I was
Um,
like, hold on, rewind.
I'm trying to. Okay, so for me, I would say that it's definitely exciting, right? I feel like I've used that word all the time lately. I'm excited about everything Scar says, but I really love what we're doing. So I mean, I'm learning a lot. So I've got skills and um, traits that I'd never even thought I would be able to do that I've learned from this position. Um, I mean, it's entertaining. It can be stressful too.
All right. So
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I have 5 words because that's a lot. Y'all know my vocab is not great. Um,
I brushed right past the words and just started explaining
you're
stuff.
right.
So.
You said one. One.
I know. I'm not gonna harp on it, but I noticed. I was like,
It's all right. We won't call you out on national television. This is
Okay,
only
what
on
are your
TV,
5
right?
words then? You're just
Right,
buying
okay.
time so you can
I'm
think
I'm
your
not
5
having
words.
5 words. Oh, I pulled my phone out and I wrote them down because I am what? Dedicated. But I maybe only have 3 words. I would say rewarding, because I always love the outcome. It's very rewarding to like see a positive response to something that I put a lot of work into. Um, Also exhausting because I always want a nap all the time. It's a lot of work. Like when, I think people think that putting a magazine together is like super easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, but it is not. It's very tiring, and I spend days like sitting on my floor with magazines open, like what can I steal or rework to make this look fresh because I'm dying. Um, and my third word, because I'm cutting it to three. Welcome to Chit Chat with Grant. Is inspiring, but because I think our photographers just like kill it. I'm never expecting anything. When we get stuff, I'm like, okay, I need to redo my photos. Like, ask Divos, I've redone my photos for the magazine, the past two issues, every single time after we've gotten all of them. Because I'm like, I'm trash, and this is ugly. So we can't put this next to all this. So I do love that, and sometimes I see people's like Photoshop style or like their combo of clothing or like the decor stuff is insane because I can't decorate to save my life. So I'm just like, whoa, okay, let me step my game up because I was doing better than me. I got a problem with that because I'm trying to be on top. That's good.
Right.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
Never trying to be on top. I'll just beat you to it. Hey, everybody. Welcome.
So you have an SL magazine, and I know, Grant, you said you just sit around watch, your magazine collections. Like, what do you think the difference between the SL magazine,
Between the what?
a real life magazine, and SL magazine? Like, what?
I think you get a paycheck for working for a real life magazine.
T. Like a real nice paycheck, I'd like a car to pick me up and take me places. I like my Starbucks on my desk promptly at 8 a.m. By 8 a.m. I mean 8 p.m. because that's when I wake up. Welcome.
And I would love to be able to keep my sample sizes.
With a little bit of tailoring. But, just kidding. I think one thing that is really hard in SL that I always struggle with personally is movement. And people who can do movement in photos is like insane to me because something I love about editorial photography, especially in fashion, is the ability to have movement in like the way a garment flows or like the way the hair moves or the way you just notice like the way someone's limb works. Exactly. And then SL, I'm just like standing in front of a backdrop. I'm like, I don't look like I'm moving. So like if you look at my photos, sometimes I'll just blur stuff with like a motion blur just so that it looks like there's some action happening. That's from a photography point of view. From a magazine point of view, I think print is dying in real life, which is super sad to me because I love print magazines. I hate online magazines, but from a Second Life point of view, I love the online magazine. I still want to get some of ours printed out because we do. Like Divos, you have all of them printed, yes, in real life?
I do, yep.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because there's a way to get it printed. So maybe when I get a paycheck from doing this in real life, I can get some printed out. But yeah, I think that's something else too that a lot different because in real life I can hold it and I can look at glossy pages, and in Second Life it's a digital print. But I think where it makes up for the fact that I can't hold it is that I know like all the people who put the work into it and what they've done. So then I'm like, oh, I know this person and what they did. Like Wayne is a great example. Wayne has done stuff for the magazine, had his own little thing, and I live for his photos because he always has like 48 people in them. And it makes me angry because I can barely get myself in a photo. So I'm like, wow, he had 14 people in one photo. Okay, he's blocked today. But that I think is like the cool thing. Or like when we get the photos, I'm like, oh, someone did a photo with this person. I didn't know they knew this person. Like it's weird because SL is so small too. So you kind of like discover people's friendships or who they know through the magazine. I don't know. That was a really long answer. I'm long-winded. I should be a filibuster.
Wait, what was the question?
I don't remember anymore.
The difference between
I'm kidding.
the SL magazine and the RL magazine.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
there's a lot of similarities. I mean, I've never worked for a real life magazine, of course, but I think a lot of the processes and the thoughts are the same. But I can tell you when you get it printed and it's delivered and you're looking through it, and I mean, there's just a really big sense of pride at seeing something that comes together because I mean, I really do feel like the magazine's truly beautiful. So many people,
It really is. I mean, I love it.
yeah,
Um,
it's
like
it's a
sitting
labor
here
of
talking to you
love.
guys, I'm like looking at my other screen. I'm like, oh wow, that's
Uh,
really.
also, I think SL Publishing is slept on too, because I've tried to get a few jobs like in real life using my SL publication work, and they have not worked out great. Some of them because people just think I'm playing The Sims and like taking snapshots, and I have to really explain. I'm like, no, like a lot of work goes into this. It's not just like me opening Windows Paint and slapping it together. But I think that's one thing I wish SL maybe had a better reputation. Or like it could be a
Right.
little bit more viable because I've not gotten some jobs because my proof is SL because I don't live in a place where I can go get a real publishing job and I don't have the piece of paper that people want for it. But um,
You know what
it's
though?
just as hard of work.
To speak to that, I can tell you there's a because I look, I do legal stuff in real life. It has nothing to do with making magazines, but there are talents and tricks that you pick up from doing this that you can apply
Totally.
to almost any job that you are in. So that's the part that's really cool. So while they might not say, "Hey, Second Life, that's great. We see what you're doing," there's things that you can contribute that you learn.
Definitely.
That I know Grant could apply to whatever he does.
Oh, for sure.
He's extremely talented. Like I cannot wait for y'all to see this next issue. It's gonna be amazing.
I agree with you on that. I work in behavioral health in real life, and I mean SL is just like going to work because some of y'all crazy as fuck. It's like I know how to deal with people in SL because I do it for a living. I get paid for it, so.
Can you teach us?
Oh yeah,
I know how to deal with people. I'm on a platform all day.
some really good tricks. You're just like, wow, this is like a bad case of bipolar, whatever.
Echo, meet me outside after this.
I'm about to pick up those lips and make a phone call.
It's about to turn into Maury real quick. Forget this interview. What's up?
Chit Chat with Chad.